Hello, 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 everybody. Sky Houston here with Radio 1 Houston, proud to be representing our new inspiration station back on the FM dial, Praise 92.1. Now, listen, the last few weeks since we relaunched, there's been a lot of buzz in the city. Why? People are excited. People are rejuvenated. People have a new sense of hope because the blessings keep falling down on us. Like if you are watching right now, you are a product of a blessing, the blessing of seeing another day, having all your limbs, just ready to go into the new season that is available to you. So that is a blessing in itself. And today we're going to be talking to a businessman right here in Houston who has been blessed beyond measure. So we're going to talk to him about going beyond the praise. He has a praise, he has a story, he has an inspiring message that I think everybody should hear. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today with me online, Mr. Max Bozeman. Hi, Max.
Hi, Sky. How are you?
I'm good. Now, you guys, Max is the owner of the Greasy Spoon. Now, Max, I tried you, my brother, for the first time a few months ago. I'll never forget the day. It was July 3rd. It was at one of our big summer shows that just passed. And I was like, first of all, why am I just getting put on to the Greasy Spoon? Second of all, who's been keeping this food from me in the green room? So your food, your product is wonderful. I can be a testament and say that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I actually can't wait to bring something up to you all so you can have a big, office luncheon or something, just so you all can eat some more food, because I love putting smiles on faces, which is what I strive to do every day.
Now, I gotta admit, I was trying to take to-go boxes and everything because I couldn't get enough. I was like, I gotta take this home to the family. But I'm glad that you're excited about being able to serve us. But it seems with everything that's happening in the world right now, we're not sure when is the next time we're gonna be able to open up the offices. As you know, we've been going through this pandemic for a whole year and a half. And I know you're no stranger to the pandemic because you had a series of events outside of the blessings. You had some tests that transpired through 2020. So first, just do this for me. Tell people a little bit about Greasy Spoon, how you guys came about first off.
Okay. So I've been in the restaurant and hospitality industry for about 15 years or so. And I've opened up restaurants and bars, lounges, partnered with a lot of different people throughout the city, created some great brands. And the Greasy Spoon is actually my first solo restaurant endeavor. And so I started back in March of 2020, right before the pandemic. I opened up a brand new restaurant. Little did I know, of course, that the pandemic came right around the corner, but I was made for it. The experiences and the wisdom that I've gained over the past, decade or so in the industry, it allowed me to be able to create, a great company. And I was able to actually thrive through the pandemic and those tests that you're talking about. And so it's been a blessing, and it's all glory to God.
Absolutely. Tell me this, before you really put it out there, March of 2020, were you a businessman? How did you know, or what made you step out and say, it's time for me to do this for myself? What was the push that got you?
I started my first company at 19. I was actually a student at Texas Southern University, and I was in my third year. And I had an opportunity to purchase a convenience store, and I did. And it was in a neighborhood in the area where my family had already kind of established their footprint with the church that we have, the real estate, apartment complexes and subdivisions. And so the store was kind of right in the middle of all of that. And so it just made sense for the business owner, who I knew since a child, to offer to sell me the store, since that was one of the things that, we didn't have on that street. And I did. I stepped out. I bought the store. Maybe a year later, I bought the gas station down the street. I was the youngest gas station owner in the state of Texas and probably the country. And so, you know, it's just been one thing after another. I've always been a businessman. Since a kid, I thought I was a little entrepreneur. And so as I got older, you know, I took all of the things that, you know, my family exposed me to over the years, my upbringing. I was trained for it mentally, intellectually, and relationally. And I was able to kind of put all of that together and start my own business journey, if you will. And so, you know, when it was time to do the restaurant, I had no doubt in my mind that, you know, I wanted to do a specific brand like the Greasy Spoon. And so it was just like, okay, let's do it. You know, let's get it done, and got it done. And here we are, you know, a year and a half later, and we start on a whole nother location. You know, and so it's a blessing.
Really quickly, before you can get to a new location, you got to have a good product, right? You got to have something that's in demand that the people want. So let me ask you this: being a businessman, seeing your family and your church family run businesses is one thing. Being able to cook is a whole nother something. So young Tender, I'm gonna call you a young Thundercat because you're not that old, Max. How did you learn to cook? Did you have some help along the way? How did you put together your first Greasy Spoon menu?
Well, so since I've been in the industry for so long, I say so long, for the years that I have been, you know, you pick up certain things. I honestly, I don't even consider myself a cook. Now I know how to do everything, just because I learned early in business to not depend on other people to do what you need them to do for your business. You have to know how to do it for yourself. But, you know, I took on an interest in actually cooking when my younger brother tragically died some years ago. And the one thing that helped me get through it when I was depressed and just wanted to stay home was cook and come up with recipes. And because it takes your mind, you know, you have to think about what you're doing. And so in me cooking and thinking and creating, I was able to get through that process a little easier. You know, my family has recipes that I kind of pick from and, you know, innovate as well as, you know, my staff, you know, my team. My team has been with me for over 10 years. And it's just a matter of, you know, going in and, you know, lacing up our boots and creating. That's the fun in it. It's the creativity and just coming up with stuff, you know. And
who's
and
that
even
first
now,
person? Who's that first person, Max, you went to in the family said, let me get that one recipe? What was the recipe and who was it that you went to first in the family?
now, so it's only one person, and that's my grandmother, Carol Dixon. She's the cook of the family, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. I wish I know a lot of her recipes, and then she, of course, could give me even more. But she always told me that she did not want to use her recipes for profit. It was for family.
That's
And
what I was gonna say. I was waiting
so,
to hear, was she giving it up?
yeah, so I respected that, but she did give me a couple. So I know the gumbo recipe, and then the cornbread recipe as well. And even with those, I still tweak them, you know, to make sure that it's still something special and unique and innovative for the Greasy Spoon itself.
Awesome. Now tell me this. It's one thing to lean on your family for recipes, but it's a whole nother thing when it comes to leaning on your family for faith. So let me ask you this. When did Max's faith, or rubber meets the road, when did your faith in this walk in creating and building the Greasy Spoon, when would you say your faith met the rubber? When you really had to put it in action for yourself, not going off grandma's faith or mom's faith. What was that time for you? Overall.
So as far as the Greasy Spoon is concerned,
Max, as far as Max and the Greasy Spoon is synonymous. So
yeah.
for you
So
in this whole,
yeah, so of course the pandemic hit. Honestly, it didn't bother me. So I didn't have to exert much, you know, faith in regards to trying to figure it out. I naturally was able to kind of get through that just based on what I have, I guess, innately. But a couple of months after the pandemic, I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. And so, you know, being a 37-year-old, I was 36 then, you know, it knocked me off of my feet, you know, emotionally, mentally. And the only thing that I had was my spirit foundation. It was my faith. And so, you know, I'll be perfectly honest with you. You know, I cried for about 15 minutes after being told by the doctor that, you know, I have cancer. And I wasn't even all the way alert yet or coherent from the anesthesia, but I knew what the doctor said. And it really crushed me because, and I didn't understand it. And I thought it was maybe a mistake. My uncle, who's a pastor in the city, Bishop Dixon, James Dixon, he actually, my mother must have called him once, you know, she found out before I woke up. And he literally rushed over. And as I was walking through the parking lot to go to the car with my mom, he pulled up. And he said, I came straight here right away because I want to make sure that whatever thoughts you have in your mind right now, doubt, fear, they don't take up root. And from that moment, he spoke life into me, he spoke the word to me, and he prayed over me, standing in that parking lot. And from that moment on, I said, okay, let's get to it then. You know, I mean, let's do it. Let's go, God. You know, up until that point, I didn't have anything that I faced like that in my life. Everything else was tangible, things that can, you know, get kind of taken care of, or if it's business or money or whatever it is, relationships. But this I had no control over. And so it was the first time in my life that I had no control over my challenge and my crisis and my faith that I have, you know, my family has helped me build, and the Holy Spirit over the years. You know, it was time for it was game time.
Yeah, I love that. Shout out to Bishop Dixon. I know Bishop Dixon. He is an amazing man. And I love him pulling up in that one moment to help you shift your perspective, because, you know, they say faith comes by hearing. You had to hear him remind you in order to reenact what you already know to be true. So that's amazing. Amazing. And I also love, Max, the fact that you don't just stick to doing it for you, you're doing it for others. I'm a single mom, and matter of fact, Bishop Dixon, I always see him picking up his grandkids when I pick up my son from school. They go to the same school. And it's nothing like having a community, a village, and other supporters to help you as a single mom. So I'm super excited that you've taken it upon yourself to do just that. Tell us a little bit about what you've done for single moms, or what you're about to do for single moms.
You know, one thing that's kind of connected to what we were just speaking on, you know, when I got diagnosed, I made a commitment that I was going to sew my way through this season. And so, you know, a lot of things happened throughout the pandemic where people, you know, need help. They, you know, whether it's groceries, whether it's, you know, help with bills. And so, of course, up front, I helped out a lot of people throughout the pandemic by really just giving away money out of my own pocket. It was pretty much as simple as that. And then, of course, when the winter storm hit, it was another crisis that the entire city faced. And then again, you know, I think I'm probably a little over $100,000 now that I was able to really give out to a lot of mothers and families that really need the help. And so now, you know, because motherhood is very important to me, the reverence that I have for mothers, it's on another level, because I see how my mom is really sticking by me through my process and my health challenge, and how she stuck by, you know, my family, and she's a true leader. And so I want to make sure that I'm continuing to be a blessing to mothers, especially single mothers. And so even going forward, you know, I'll continue to do things, and upcoming, we're gonna do a brand new, I don't think I've even said this publicly, but we're doing a brand new car giveaway to a single mother that we're going to give them and announce the winner for Christmas, as well as some other things leading up to it. But that's the big prize, a brand new car that they'll be able to receive. So I'm excited about that as well.
You should be. Now, listen, I heard you say something so key. My pastor always says you're either going into a storm, currently in a storm, or coming out of one. So I heard you say, and I don't want to let this pass, I just want you to dig into it a little bit for me. You sold your way through the struggle, what you were going through. You decided to sow your way through that. Talk about that a little bit, why that was important and what that even means and how that can help someone else.
Right. And so it's clear that, being diagnosed with cancer, I need help. I need help. I need help. I need health. I need something myself. But rather than focus on my giant that I was facing, I decided to make sure that I focus on being someone else's David and to help them face their giants. If I'm focused on helping, I'm focused on sowing, I'm focused on giving, I'm focused on building, then I don't have time to focus on my giant. Because if I look at my giant, I might get depressed. If I look at my giant, I might get discouraged. If I look at my giant, I might be fearful. And so I don't want to look at my giant. Let me focus on being the God, allowing God to work through me to be somebody else's David and to help them, attack their giants. And so that's basically, it's really that simple. I just, and as a result, I didn't think much about what I was going through while I was going through it, because I was so busy just helping other people. And so where I may have needed a smile on a certain day, I would put a smile on somebody else's face, and putting a smile on somebody else's face, put a smile on my face, and so, it just kind of worked hand in hand.
That's it. I hope that blesses somebody, because that's it. You have to keep going through your own personal storm, because God uses everything. He's put you in that position to move you to another place. And that place may be just to do something for someone else. So I don't want anybody to miss that. Don't focus on what you're going through. Praise him through it all. And that's the blessing behind the praise. The whole point of us doing this right here is to encourage and to show someone else what we're making it through so that they can too. So thank you for sharing that. And it's not stopping. You talked about that second location now. So when is it happening and where is it going to be?
So the second location for the Greasy Spoon is going to be in Pearland. And so it's set to open in October. And so we'll update with a definite date. And of course, we'll have a soft opening first. And we're definitely going to invite 92.1 out for you guys to attend that. But then the grand opening will be sometime around the beginning of October. And so we're very, very excited about the Pearland location. They're waiting, sometimes impatiently, for us to arrive. And so because they're so excited as well. And then also we have a new food truck as well that'll be at the new Houston Grub Park, which is right around NRG Stadium, right off of 610. And so the food truck will be up and running in actually a couple of weeks. And so if you don't want to go all the way to the north side and you're kind of in between and don't want to wait until Pearland, you can at least go to the food truck and still get some of those favorite cuisines that a lot of people rave about. So
tell them, rave about them here. Tell them what you have. For the folks who've never heard of the Greasy Spoon, they can imagine what the Greasy Spoon might be, but you tell them what your signature dishes are.
So number one is, of course, going to be our world famous oxtails. And so the oxtails are by far the number one item that we have. We have lamb chops, of course, smothered pork chops, herb roasted baked chicken, blackened catfish Appaloosas, Louisiana chicken and sausage gumbo. We have the lobster. We even have some elevated items as well. That's the unique thing about the Greasy Spoon. You know, we don't just have the soul food items, which we do have. We have some elevated items, you know, when you have collard green and smoked turkey egg rolls, you know, we have an item called the Boss Seafood Stack that's #2 behind oxtails. And it consists of Cajun fried catfish, fried lobster tail, sauteed shrimp, all stacked on top of dirty rice and collard greens, smothered in a Cajun seafood sauce. And so it's delicious as well. And so we have so many items that really kind of, you know, set the bar, you know, when it comes to Southern home cooked food, because we want to make sure that people, so many people love soul food and it crosses all cultural boundaries and barriers, but people don't necessarily respect or reverence Southern comfort food as they do maybe a steakhouse or maybe a seafood restaurant. And so we want to make sure that culture collides with cuisine, and people actually start looking at us as like, now we don't just love their food because we can't cook it. We love it because look at how it's plated, look at how it's seasoned, look at how it's designed and curated, and how much thought is put into it. And so that's what we are. You know, that's what we do at the Greasy Spoon.
I noticed the whole time you were telling us the food items, you smiled more through telling us about the food than any other point in this interview. So, sir, if that's not making somebody want to come and try it, because the man behind it is saying this is good to me and it's going to be good to you, I don't know what else to tell you. But Max, tell them where they can follow you, where they can follow the Greasy Spoon, so they know how to get to you.
All right, so if you follow us on Facebook, it's The Greasy Spoon Soul Food Bistro. On Instagram, it's The Greasy Spoon HTX, which stands for Houston, Texas. And of course, we're located off north locations off 45 and 1960, 636 Cypress Station Drive, Houston, Texas, 77090. And then the Pearland location is 1009 Broadway. And of course, you can always follow us on our website at www.thegreasyspoonhtx.com to stay up to date with all of our information.
All right, go check them out. I have, and I plan on being a food tester at the new location. So look for me there too. All right, thanks. Thanks again, Max. We appreciate you, and we
looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Thank y'all. Have a good one. Thank you.